Hello and welcome to the Free Outside Show. When this is coming out, I am probably not going to be wearing this hat or this outfit or basically anything involved in the production of this show because I'm going to be going for the Appalachian Trail record and I'm going to be in the middle of it. But you know what a record takes? It takes gear. It also takes grit, luck, humility, a giant base, higher than average VO2 max probably, feet that are pretty solid, a pair of good shoes or 10 of them. But I wanted to get into the gear that's involved in this guy. So it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of persistence. It's going to take a little bit of running, but probably less than you would think. But it's also going to take like 40 plus days. And to cover that 40 plus days, I'm going to need a lot of gear. So maybe I'm going to make one of these on food and maybe mindset and strategy and stuff like that. But I thought I would start with the gear episode because people love gear, especially thru hikers, ultra runners. Ultra runners love shoes. Oh my gosh, there's so many shoe channels where they like review different shoes and stuff like that. Do you see the feather in my cap? Should I call it macaroni? Okay. Let's get into the gear episode. So the main thing when I was looking at gear and what I would want, what I would need to cover 2,200 miles. That's miles. For any listeners in other countries, I know we're really big in Slovakia. I don't know the conversion, but you can Google it. The internet's an amazing place for kilometers. But anyways, I just needed gear that would hold up. I just lost my feather, so you can't call that macaroni. But I needed gear that would hold up. Also, ultralight. Lightweight is a big deal, but ultralight, ultra light. Like the goal is 15 pounds or less for what's literally on my back. That's not base weight. Base weight is what it does not include food and water. And so my base weight, I'm hoping, is like 6 pounds or less. And so this is what I have so far. I'm about 6 days from flying out to go for this record. And so there might be a tweak or two, but the big pieces of gear are going to remain the same. So let's get into it. This is the gear that I'm hoping works to set the Appalachian Trail self-supported record. All right. So for my pack, I've been working with Ultraspire for maybe a year, over a year now. And they are working on this prototype of a fast pack. And so I worked with them some on that. I did some wear testing of it and it's probably 25 liter. I like it. It feels pretty durable to me, maybe a little over-engineered if I wanted to go absolutely lightweight. But I think that some of the things like a more substantial hip belt and some padding are going to help me feel like I can run some of the softer portions of the trail. So basically, it's going to be 400 miles of feeling like I'm behind on the FKT and then 1,800 miles of trying to catch up. So a pack where I can move really well when the terrain is easier for moving is going to be the key. So I don't know that this pack has a name yet. I don't know when it's going to be released. They were going to give me that information, but I've had to move ahead and record this episode before then. So an Ultraspire pack. I love the company I've used. They're running best on certain things. And so why I switched them initially was because I had a Solomon vest and the zipper actually failed. And since it's a vertical zipper, stuff was falling out the side. And when I look at an Ultraspire vest, the zipper goes horizontal at the top. So even if it failed, your stuff isn't going to fall out. So it's a basic principles of failure. I think I just coined that phrase. Principles of failure. If your gear fails, can you still use it? Wow, that's pretty good. I should use that in a reel for the episode. But there are no promotional reels or anything because I'm really busy doing the Appalachian Trail. So I'm just going to have to depend on you guys to be sharing these episodes and filling up that patreon.com/freeoutside so that I can move ahead. Okay, we are still on pack. We have to move forward because there are a lot of pieces of gear here. I'm counting 24 things that I'm going to talk about. So number 2, the least exciting of the things that I'm going to talk about, sleeping pad. I was just at a training camp out east and Kurt picked me up and brought me to Boston and dropped me off at the airport. And when he saw my sleeping pad, he went, gross. And well, you know what, Kurt? This one is even worse. I was using like a Z-Lite that I'd cut down to just cover my hips to my shoulder. And I think I'm going to be using a Gossamer Gear thin light foam pad. It's an 1/8 inch thick. The entire roll is 2.7 ounces, and I'm only going to be using about a third of the roll. So it is maximum gross. The R value is 0.5. So that is not a lot if you're keeping track at home. It doesn't even have one whole R. All right, next item, shelter. Most people use a tent out there. There also are lean-tos / shelters on the Appalachian Trail, but I'm not really depending on them because I'm going to be coming in at like 10 or 11 every night, waking up the whole shelter. They'll be mad, and my personality is way too nervous to be main character energy after dark. Well, don't tell my college self that. But anyways, I just don't think I'm going to feel comfortable crawling in a shelter, not knowing who's there, shining my headlamp there. So I'll probably be camping near the shelter, but I'll probably be setting up this solo tarp from Gossamer Gear pretty often. It weighs 7 ounces. I can set it up pretty well with 6 tent stakes. It can take up to 8, but that's what I'm going to use. It uses both my trekking poles to set it up. It worked pretty good in the rain and the wind when I was out testing things in the White Mountains last month. And so I feel fairly confident in it, although it's going to have some issues with bugs and stuff, which is why I also have a bug net, because bugs do exist on the Appalachian Trail just as much as humidity. Humidity, bugs, and a Appalachian full time. That's what they say, said no one ever. Okay, my sleeping bag. It's actually more of a quilt. It's the Revelation Apex synthetic 50-degree quilt from Enlightened Equipment. It's 13 ounces or so. It keeps me warm enough. I also have a couple layers I can put on. I know some tricks, like if your feet are cold, you can shove them in your empty backpack, and that provides more insulation too. So that's why I'm going with a 50-degree bag, even though if you Google what rating sleeping bag do you want to take on the Appalachian Trail, it usually says a lot warmer than 50 degrees. But I'm not too worried. It worked when I was out there. The only problem is I have to wear a bug net because it doesn't go all the way up to my head. I have a regular and a short. I'm not sure if I'm going to take the regular or the short. I can save an ounce there, but is it worth it? I don't know. Still in the works. But the synthetic style, even though I think it's slightly heavier than a down bag would be, because the Appalachian Trail is so wet that the key is you want something that's going to have insulated properties even when it's wet. So hence synthetic sleeping bag. All right, and then battery banks. I got to keep my stuff charged. I have a multitude of 10,000 milliamp hour battery banks, and I'm going to send them in most of my resupply boxes already fully charged. They're about 5 ounces each, and I'll put the used one in the hiker box, which kind of sucks, and that's an expense, but that goes along with the territory. All right. The clothing that I'm going to wear. This is the most contentious part. This is what I actually was trying to figure out in the training camp. So I took 2 different pairs of shorts out there to test each of them because I was going to have chafing, but the question was, how was I going to have less chafing? This is also where Squirrel's Nut Butter comes in. I'll be taking 1 stick at a time and mailing more to each resupply spot, maybe every 300 or so miles will probably be how often I go through it, because humidity equals chafing and chafing equals bad. That's how I do it. But these are the clothes I'm going to wear. They worked. I tested them. They're awesome. Also, the next 3 items are from John G. They are a sponsor of the show. So JANJI dot, that's a period, JANJI period COM. The full way to go and get these items is go to http://www.janji period COM and hit enter. That'll take you to their website. And what I'm wearing from their website, the John G AFO visor. I'm a visor guy now. The main reason I'm a visor guy is because I can put a towel. I have a cooling towel from Frog Togs. It was actually like $9, but when it's cold, when it's wet, it feels cold to the touch. So it's like really amazing, especially for humidity. But I'm going to be wearing that under the visor, so it's just like easier, keeps you cooler than a hat. Maybe it doesn't look great. Maybe it looks like you're going on a golfing vacation or you work on the sidelines for an NFL team, but that doesn't really matter. It's all about staying cool and getting the record. You know what's cooler than being cold? Wait, ice cold? Messed up that line. You know what's cooler than looking cool? getting a record, getting an FKT. Everyone cares about those, said no one ever. Okay. And then my next item, I'm going to be wearing the Janji AFO middle shorts, the 5-inch ultra version. They sell regular AFO shorts, but the 5-inch ultra version, they have pockets. And you know what? Life's better with pockets. So you can get those at Janji. Do I need to say the address again? I hope not. You could think of it as Janji, but those are great because the pockets, they worked. They didn't bounce too much when I was running. I could put my phone in them. I could put a bunch of food in them, but pockets are key. And then I'm going to be wearing the Janji Tracker Snappy shirt just because it's short sleeve. It unbuttons really easily and the buttons are snapped. So you don't even have to like have finger dexterity if you're low on salt and things are cramping up. It's just a simple snap and you can open it up. It worked really good for staying cool myself out there. So those are the 3 staple items from our sponsor, Janji. And, you know, the Gossamer gear, tarp, the sleeping pad, the Revelation synthetic quilt, and the Distance Carbon Z trekking poles that I'm going to be taking that are only 10 ounces a pair. Those are all available at Garage Grown Gear. And Garage Grown Gear is our second sponsor. So go check them out. Their address is, you got to do the same HTTP thing and then W's, 3 of the W's and then a period. And then you can just type in Garage Grown Gear. And if you don't know how to spell that, try to spell it. And then Google will probably fix it for you. It's actually an amazing thing. I'm only going to be taking 1 layer that's warm and it's going to be a Levy brand, Levy Alpha 90 hoodie. And so this is Alpha Direct and it dries really fast. It's warm enough. I tried a 60, which is basically how thick they are, which is a weird line to take out of context. But I tried a 60, which means it's thinner for my training camp. And I just noticed I got a little bit cold. So I decided to upgrade to the 90. It only weighs like 4 ounces, so no big deal. For a rain jacket, will it rain? Yes, it will. Maybe even every day out there. So I don't have a lot of rain protection. My gear should stay pretty dry in my pack, but what I will be taking is a Visp. It's a really old model. It's actually like 6 years old from, I think it's Enlightened Equipment, but it's like 5.5 ounces. It doesn't have pockets. It just has pit zips and it's extremely ultralight. So I'm taking that because it weighs nothing and it's another layer. So if I'm cold and it's pouring and I'm miserable, I can wear this and not be so worried. And slightly drier, even though I'll be wet inside and out. So it doesn't really matter how waterproof any of these things are. Socks, these are important. Your feet are basically what carry you when you're walking. Did you know that? When you're walking, your feet are carrying you as if you're carrying a baby. You're the baby and they're carrying you along. So I'm wearing the Exoskin Quarter toe socks. Toe socks are dumb and they suck to put on, but you know, they do their job. They're amazing. They prevent blisters, feel good, look good, feel good. And you know what? Toe socks don't look good, but they feel good. So whatever there. For shoes, I'm going to wear the Mount to Coast T1 version. They worked pretty good. They're kind of an all around shoe that I just felt comfortable in. And I think that's the biggest thing compared to like aggressive tread and things like that. This was good enough for all those and felt pretty good. And they had like the dual lacing system, so you can kind of lace however fits best on your foot. For a phone, I'm just doing an iPhone, not a me phone, an iPhone. So that'll be pretty easy. Glasses, I'm wearing them now. They're transition lenses. So I've entered middle age if I'm wearing transition lenses, but they're 2-in-1, just like zip off pants. They have sunglasses and glasses in one. And you know what? They know when to change. It's like a thermos. How do they know if I'm looking at the sun or reading a book inside? I don't know, but they do. How does a thermos know whether to keep something hot or cold? Pretty amazing. Technology is incredible these days. Look how far we've come as a species. I'm going to be wearing a bandana because I have this mop of hair that I refuse to cut for some reason, unless maybe we get a ton of money influx. You can Venmo at Jeff-Garmeyer, and if the amount that it comes in hits a threshold number that I deem enough to cut my hair, then maybe I will. If not, I probably won't. So I got a bandana to keep this thing in check, and also helps for like cleaning off my glasses and stuff, because I'm not Jerry Jones and have a glasses cleaner. If you get that joke, you get it. And if not, you don't. Who cares? I'm going to have a filter out there because 80 million, 100 million, a billion, people live on the Appalachian Trail. They don't live on it. That was a misspeaking time. 1 billion people live within a day's drive of the Appalachian Trail. You can check my stat there, but I'm pretty sure it's within 1 billion of being correct. But that just means the water sources are used a lot and all kinds of stuff can happen. So most water sources I will be treating. I'm going to be taking the original Sawyer filter. It's 3 ounces. I could save weight by taking a mini or a micro from Sawyer, but I'm just really like the flow rate. There's nothing sadder than being thirsty and trying to drink through a filter and it's just coming out really slow. So it's more frustrating than actually thirst quenching or satisfying. I'm also going to be treating all my clothing with permethrin because ticks are out there. They do exist. Mosquitoes are out there. They exist. And all kinds of bugs and creepy crawlies are really scary out there, you know, and permethrin keeps them away. Do you get cancer from permethrin? I'm not that sure. Maybe, but it's not a big deal. You know, I just don't want to get bit by a tick. You know, Lyme disease was actually called, I was going to say invented, but that might be the wrong term for a disease, unless it's COVID. Do you like conspiracies? But Lyme disease, I think, is named after like Lyme, Connecticut. So obviously some ticks out there might have Lyme disease. So I don't want to be getting that. So I'm going to be going with permethrin and a bug net. So fingers crossed that's going to be good enough to keep me safe out there. Let's see. So I got a bug net too. That's ultralight. I talked about my frog tog towel. That's pretty sweet. So I do have a little bit of first aid stuff. I have duct tape. It's actually on the trekking poles so that it's easy to use and pull off and make do with. And I'm going to take some antibiotics. And I was just out east and I had an issue with my toe and it got infected. So I needed antibiotics then. So this time it's going to suck to have to go to an urgent care. So I'm just going to nip that in the butt right away and have my antibiotics with me so that there's no issues. Let's see, I got a Tyvek ground sheet because my tarp has no floor. I got to bring the floor separate. Floor sold separately, along with the tent stakes. It didn't even show up with tent stakes. I had to dig my own out of a storage unit. I'm going to have a tracker out there, the InReach Mini. So I'm going to be working with Corsa. Actually, I think it's Corsa Run or Run Corsa. Dang, I'm going to have to put the link in the description. I'm thinking Corsa Run / live / free outside, something like that. You might get there. I'm going to put the link somewhere at least, so be checking it out. Follow me on Instagram and you might be able to see that link. Actually, I did put it in a post on Patreon, so if you join my Patreon, you can get that link. So Corsa Run will have the tracker because I'm going to have an InReach Mini 2 that's going to do some live tracking. There's going to be a bit of a delay, so don't go to where my dot is because I won't be there, and that's creepy even if you're looking for me because it's self-supported. I don't want to see you out there. It's not you, it's me, okay? So you stay away and there will be no problems, I promise. But if you're out there, I mean, these arms weren't built from nothing. They know how to be used, and I know how to use them. And then I'm also going to be wearing a Coros Vertex 2 watch. I don't think I'll directly put everything on Strava, but I might eventually. So we will see. Did I forget anything? Possibly, but let me know in the comments what I might have possibly forgotten, and I won't read it because I will be on the Appalachian Trail. Our last sponsor is CS Coffee, csinstant.coffee. That's what this is. Hello, cheers. Thank you. Do you want to support me on the Appalachian Trail? Do you want to make me feel good about myself? Well, like, subscribe, 5 stars. We need more 5-star reviews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and I don't know, wherever podcasts are sold. I don't know how big our Chinese market is, but I'd love to get those numbers up because I hear there's like 1.3 billion people there. And that's how many listens we're hoping to get every month. Joe Rogan, we're coming for you. Also subscribe to my Substack, substack.com/freeoutside. Patreon, I've mentioned a bunch of times. What perks do you get by joining there? I don't know. You just get the pleasure of knowing that I'm going to be proud. YouTube, I come out with content all the time. If you're not following, I'm probably putting up a daily or semi-daily update on how the Appalachian Trail is going on both YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So check that out. Follow everywhere. It's always Free Outside or The Free Outside. If you can't find me, that's on you, not me, because right now I am hiking. Okay, this is a shorter episode because, you know, I'm trying to bank a bunch of these. I have a lot of cool stuff coming out. So thanks again for following, and thank you to John G. Janji, JANJI.com, Garage Grown Gear, and CS Coffee, csinstant.coffee. All right, and thank you to the Kinsinger family because their cabin is awesome. All right, stay elite, my friends. We're out.
Yeah, it's just so fun to talk to you because, oh my God, you are such a warm and kind soul.
The goal today is to not poop my pants. I wonder if this should have like bumper music. Thanks for joining me. I'll tell you what victory tastes like. Warm PBR. Happy birthday to me. Day 14. I'm out of toilet paper. I went without sleep for 60 hours.
Okay, bring that out, and blue steel, little green still in there, yep.
I've been pulled over by the cops in the past.
And we don't know anything. To everybody listening, just go out and embrace your own science experiment.
I found these balloons in the middle of nowhere, and I'm trying to suck the helium out.
That is incredibly exciting. And come back and teach us your lesson.
How does my voice sound right now?
I've essentially had the good fortune of people coming back and teaching me their lessons.
Yep, it's dirt.
Yeah, it's just so fun to talk to you because, oh my God, you are such a warm and kind soul.
That is pretty pretentious.
Like, I feel as if you reached into my heart and just made it grow 3 sizes, so thank you.
I'm out of toilet paper. Now that's poor planning. We're out. Stay elite, my friends.